Katrina Johnson from New Sky Consulting, and you're watching the CATS channel, supporting young people with disabilities to live their best and brightest life. So, as a parent, your son or daughter has made it to the end of their school life, and at times you probably wish that this time would hurry up and get here. And also at other times, you may be wishing that this time doesn't ever get here at all. Leaving school is such a critical time in the life of a young person. It's a time when you start to think about the future. You start to ask, well, what is my son or daughter going to be doing? Where are they going to go? And what are they going to do with their life? What are they going to be? What are they going to do? And for many families, it's a great time of exploration and a great time of excitement. But for families of young people with disabilities, this time can also be mixed with a great deal of trepidation and anxiety, because you start to know that you're going to go from a time and an environment where it feels very routine, very safe and very familiar, to something that looks quite a bit different to that. When I left school, I know that I had a great feeling of a sense of loss. I was quite sad. I was worried about losing contact with my friends, and I was also a bit fearful of the unknown. But at the same time, I was full of excitement about this new adventure and about thinking that, wow, maybe school isn't as good as it gets. There's so much more out there. For my parents, it was a time of, well, she's made it, but now what? Will she go to uni? Will she get a job? Will she become independent? In my experience, young people with disabilities leaving school and their families feel the exact same way. However, they may also have the additional anxiety and the additional sense of urgency and concerns, as the reality for them is that they're faced with a range of decisions and questions to be made with and on behalf of their son or daughter. And those sorts of things revolve around who's going to support my son or daughter now that they've left school. Another question they ask is, and how do I choose that service or that support? How do I know which one's the right one? Well, choosing a service in post-school is a really critical decision, because it's such an important time in a young person's life where they're developing their maturity, they're becoming a young adult, and there's a lot to take in at that stage and phase. So it's important to know how to do that. But where to start? Well, the very first place to start is with yourself. It's about getting some clarity and understanding about what it is you're looking for and what it is you need, really knowing those things, and then that will give you the answers to the things that you then next need to ask. So some of the questions you might like to ask yourself is, what do I want, and what does my son or daughter want and need from a service? And be as specific as you can. The next question is, what is important to us? What do we value? How do we like to be treated? Next, you want to ask yourself, well, what are my non-negotiables? What is the things that it must absolutely have, essential? And I'm not going to go that way unless they've got those things. What are your non-negotiables? And finally, what are your deal breakers? What are the things that they say they do or don't do that you go, well, that's it, not for us, sorry. Alongside the answers to those questions, you need to start to ask yourself questions around the long-term future goals and visions. So here's some things to ask yourself around. Number one, what are the outcomes we are looking for? Do we want independence? Do we want a fun time? What are the outcomes we're looking for? Number two, what are the goals and ambitions of my son or daughter? What is it that they would like to achieve? Their bigger goals. Number three, what support arrangements would best enable those outcomes and the achievement of those goals? Now, they're not easy questions to answer, and so I've developed a little guide for you that you might like to download. And I did this guide in relation to my blogs around the NDIS and getting ready for the plan. And it's a worksheet that goes through a specific list of questions to ask yourself to get that level of clarity. Now, I've provided the link below, so feel free to go ahead and get that download for free. So getting started really starts with you. It's a big change, and it's about accepting that it's okay to feel a mix of excitement and anxiety and fear of the unknown. But don't set up camp in fear of the unknown and that worry. Don't let it stall you in making that first necessary step of finding out what supports are out there and which ones would best support you. And before you embark on what can feel like a very overwhelming process, get clear on what it is you want and need and what you're looking for. At CATS, we know that this can be a really difficult time for families. Working with families and young people with disabilities in post-school, well, that's what we do. And we know that it's a big step for people. So we've developed this guide, How to Choose a Service Provider in Post-School, to help you gain the confidence and get some direction on how to start looking and finding the best support service for you when you leave school. I've provided the link below, so please download that. It's a free ebook, and I hope that it helps you in getting started on your journey. Well, that's all for me for now. I will be back next week with some more information and more tips on how to get started on your post-school journey. And in the meantime, thanks for joining me. And remember, we all of us deserve to live our best and brightest life. Bye for now.